Hello everyone, Phantom here. Welcome to my Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail playthrough. If you want to see what I'm up to lately, you can find me on Twitch at the link in the description below. While you're down there, consider subscribing or liking. It helps me and my human more than you'd think. Enjoy the show. Let us see if there are nodule leaves to be had in town. Perhaps the cook Ariache mentioned might be persuaded to spare us a few. Oh, hello again. Did you need something? Nodule leaves for purposes other than Shibruk Babil, naturally. Unfortunately, I've just used up my last. You'll have to travel to the lower forest for more. Golmaji Grove is the source of the finest nodule leaves you'll find. Wild variants you see in city marketplaces can't compare. Let's see. I had hoped to avoid such a lengthy venture, but if there's no other way to obtain our ingredient than to the Jatika Heartland, we shall go. Allow me to save you the trip. Traveling there requires you to go through the Tainbeck Traverse, but it has caved in due to the recent storm, I expect. What? But that means we can't get our nodule leaves. But we can, can't we? If there were no other way of procuring them, you would have suspended his feet, or else altered its objective. Perhaps. Anyway, I apologize for the interruption. Having overheard your conversation, I felt compelled to chime in. That's very kind of you. Any last minute advice you'd be willing to share? Only to undertake the feat of our past on an empty stomach. You may find Shibruk Babil to be a delicious but daunting dish to finish. I can't wait. Still, if there are no leaves here, and we can't travel for more, how are we supposed to gather all our ingredients? These feats are meant to deepen our understanding of the peoples and cultures of Tuliyollal. So perhaps there is something about Shibruk Babil we have yet to learn. Something of significance other than its recipe or ingredients. I see. Like, who was the first to make it? Its history, that sort of thing. If it's Yaktal's history you're interested in, you should start with the Old War. Between the Shabral and the Mamuluja, right? These forests have borne witness to centuries of warfare, the evidence of which remains a scar upon the earth. To know the end of that bloodshed is to know Shibruk Babil. What does D&D Brook have to do with bloodshed? Precisely the question I must answer. Vexing though a detour may seem, I can think of no other way to approach this feat. In that case, you may wish to visit the site of a settlement ruined by the war, the village of Ilyan Aso. It lies a short distance to the east. The village of Ilyan Aso. Understood. Thank you for your help. Come, let's go see this place. Oh. I kind of wanted to jump it. I wouldn't have made it. village of Ilya also must be further east. Let's continue with haste. For all we know, our competitors may be on our heels. So this is the village of Ilya, or what's left of it. It was a place of light and life. My great-grandfather called it home, in fact. Wukavu! Wukavu, I didn't know you were in Dawntrail. I was picking up lumber from Ikbrush. When I heard the third promise was on her way to the site of deep historical significance. I immediately saw another opportunity to be of service, so I followed you here. Wook Evu is a shipwright who came to our aid during the Feat of Reeds. A pleasure. You are a member of the Third Promise's retinue, I presume? For the moment, I am. My name is Kolna. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Kolna, that's a good name. A familiar name. Where have I heard... Kolna? As in the second promise of Tuliolong? Do you think I address the Dawn Servant's own son as some common retainer? Such disrespect cannot be excused. Please take up your gun and... Oh, come on, not this again. I take no offense, so please do not dwell on it. Alright, then, I shan't dwell on it. And right on cue. At least he's consistent. I understand you wish to learn about Shibruk Pibil. Well, I'm forbidden by the Shibash Ross to divulge any information regarding his preparation. I'd be happy to share what I know of Yaktel's history. We'd appreciate that. In its own basic sense, the conflict between the Shibral and the Mamuljal was one of land. The Mamuljal live in the lower forest where the thick canopy obscures the sun and soil is not forgiving to crops. This drove them to covet the upper forest, the home of the Shibral, and they launched a determined campaign to seize it for themselves. Yet advantage ever favors higher ground, and the Shibral forces held the upper hand against the invaders, rebuffing them time and time again. But as the state of this village would attest, the tide eventually turned. What brought it about? Something you know all too well. Blessed siblings. You must understand. The Mamuljal were once a people as much at war with themselves as they were with others. The Hubigo, Bunewa, and Dopro each sought to assert dominance over the others, even as they engaged the Shibral in battle. In an effort to strengthen bonds and discourage infighting, Hubigo and Bunewa leaders arranged a marriage between their children. However, this political measure altered the course of history in ways no one could have ever imagined. It was long believed that partners of different clans could not have children together. But then it happened. A child arrived who shared the blood of Hubigo and Bunewa both, a two-headed Mamuljal. Blessed with tremendous physical strength and magical prowess, he grew into a mighty warrior before eventually rising the first autarch, ruler of all three clans. Such qualities would dispose anyone into leadership, character notwithstanding. Under the autarch's rule, the newly united Mamuljal became a force to be feared, and the war soon came to a head. I think it's best you see the results firsthand. Let's visit another battlefield from that time, and there I shall continue the tale. What happened here? By the 12. You know our curses, Kona.
This is where most battles were fought between the Shabral and Mamulja, the Shobrit Cinder Field.
A field of cinders, indeed. How fierce their clashes must have been.
The war over these lands began after the Yokui's departure some 500 years ago. And for 4 centuries thereafter, the two enemies repaid violence with violence. A constant stream of minor skirmishes, punctuated by massive slaughter.
Until Father ended their endless conflict 80 years ago.
Accompanied by a retinue of only 6, the Dawn Servant opposed both armies and brought the fighting to a standstill.
First they sealed Valley Armanda at full strength, and now this.
It was during this armistice that both sides gathered for negotiations at the Dawn Servant's behest.
For too long, you have been bound by your ancestors' violent legacy. It is past time you broke free of it.
Tell that to the Scale Scum! We fight to protect what is rightfully ours! If not for their greed, we'd be living in peace!
Puff your tails and scurry off, then! Cowards like you ill deserve the bounty of this forest.
Even should one of you succeed in vanquishing the other, your triumph will last only until a new invader arrives. Tell me, do you know of the vast continent that lies far to the east, where numerous nations vie for dominance? You do not. And why should you? Affairs beyond the salt we have no intention to cross are of no consequence to us. Not until those affairs come to Tural, like our honored visitor here.
He's from across the ocean.
I've been to the ocean before, and it's nothing but water farther than the eye can see. What sort of vessel could possibly reach its end?
That such technology exists is indisputable, as is foreign powers' awareness of Tural. If any such country were to develop a taste for Turali soil and bring to bear the might of innovations we can only imagine, what do you suppose happens then? You do not know the warlords of the East, But you know that if they came, they would not settle for a single forest. By joining hands, we might create a unified front, an alliance capable of repelling them or any other foe. There is no greater proof of these than my companions and I. Alone we are weak, but together we triumphed over Valigarmanda.
What? You defeated the Sky Ruin? I'd take you for a liar if the sting of our own defeat wasn't still fresh.
Their coordination was indeed impressive. How the Pelu stymied our efforts to cripple the Yokui's legs and defend our ballistas. And when we withdrew to strike again from a distance, the Hanu called the winds to make our arrows miss their marks. In seeking to exploit their weaknesses, we only subjected ourselves to their strengths.
Those strengths are born of cooperation. The guiding principle of the nation we envision.
But our feud has lasted for centuries. How do you expect us to join hands now?
Ha ha! Give us an evening to convince you.
And so began that legendary banquet. One would not expect sworn enemies to abruptly drink to each other's health, and, indeed, a tense silence hung over the venue. But then, the Dawn servant called for the exchange of traditional cuisine. So it was that the Mamulja partook of spiced meat, and the Chebral steamed Najul. Before long, delight manifested upon the faces of those present, each side impressed by the other's dish. Seeing this, the Dawn servant laughed and declared once more. Their flavors, he said, would be even better combined, and he proceeded to help them prepare the new creation.
That's Shibruk Pibil, I'd wager.
It is a marriage of Chebral and Mamulja cultures, and proof of their newfound cooperation. The Dawn servant had asked for a single evening, but the feasting is said to have lasted 3 days and 3 nights. So delicious was their repast. In the end, a peace accord was reached, and the Dawn servant's words at that time still illuminate our way forward.
Ignorance begets a strife. Understanding begets fellowship.
Sorry. It's just to think that he ended an age-old conflict with food. It's all so absurd. It's somehow so very papa, I couldn't help but laugh.
Ignorance begets strife. Understanding begets fellowship.
Now then, I trust you understand the significance of Shibruk Bibil and the history it has written.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing the story with us. What's wrong? Someone was there, you say?
Perhaps our competition is cooking up some scheme or another.
Something bitter and half-baked, no doubt.
I don't think so. I hope I have been of sufficient service to the Third Promise. I never imagined our father was instrumental to Shibruk Bibil's invention. Papa really did live up to his words. He traveled the land, learned about our people's myriad cultures. And we're doing the same now.